Huge news roundup today. Massive story dropped by Jason Schreier, who's from Kotaku, posting this article saying Blizzard cancels StarCraft first-person shooter to focus on Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2, which is essentially like a trifecta of news leaks. Schreier reports that this isn't a layoff situation, it's more of reallocating their resources, which makes sense with a lot of the things Blizzard has been publicly saying, but now we have a bit more concrete information on where their goals might be, if these leaks, of course, are to be believed. And Schreier is a well-respected journalist in the industry, which goes a long way with me. Schreier reports that Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2 both are expected to be Blizzard's marquee announcements at this year's BlizzCon. He does note, however, that things can change, because there also was hype and anticipation building up to last year's BlizzCon for a new Diablo game that they tried to backpedal from and then transition, and then of course we got the Diablo Immortal debacle. What, you guys don't have phones? Yeah, I don't think they're looking to repeat that again this year. Schreier goes on to say both of the games will be key parts of Blizzard's strategy in the years to come. To be honest, this was already quite similar to things that the Blizzard president, Brack, has already hinted to, essentially saying that there'll be more Overwatch experiences in the future. A lot of us got really nervous about that because we thought that probably meant a mobile game, but maybe Brack was talking about exactly this. Schreier also leaks out that Overwatch 2, or whatever it winds up being called, will have a large PvE element, and he says his insider sources tell him that it's comparable to Left 4 Dead, which is interesting. I guess that would describe it as being like a horde-based scenario mission co-op gameplay type thing. I mean, really, that could work. And if you think about it, it's kind of an evolution of the gameplay we've already gotten with the Archives events. Those are kind of a simplified proof of concept of what they can do in that regard. I would imagine if they're aiming for a Left 4 Dead type experience, it would be way more fleshed out, feeling more like a campaign rather than a free kind of toss-in event item. Now, to give my opinion on all this, I think if you've watched the channel a lot, you've probably already seen videos on us talking about a potential Overwatch sequel, story mode. These are things that are highly anticipated from the community anyway, and all signs kind of were leading in this direction in any case. I'm sure there's going to be a whole lot of debate in the comment section on how we as consumers want to see this pan out, because there's all sorts of ways that this can get mishandled and be kind of obnoxious. So for example, if we get an Overwatch 2, is Overwatch 1 a separate entity? Are they going to keep supporting it and split the player base? That doesn't seem to make any sense, which is why we always thought it would make more sense to make an expansion. But how do you do that without still splitting the player base? Like, what, do you give everybody everything just for free? No, they want to sell it to you, right? So a PvE mode, in order to justify the purchase cost of, let's say, I don't know, maybe another $40 game, with the continued support that they keep doing anyway with the game. Let's face it, some things need more support than others, but you know, they keep balancing it and adding stuff over time. 2019's been a good year so far. Sorry, I get tripped up on a tangent there whenever I stumble onto the idea of them keeping up to date with what the community asks for. But in any case, a story mission-based product or somewhat of a campaign makes sense to be the type of thing that you're really buying into and paying for. And then let's say maybe they drop a bunch more heroes or something just into the game to inject it with a bunch of life. That seems like a pretty obvious move, because they've already gone down the route of having the community have an expectation that all the heroes that come out will be in the first asking price of the game. So with that, with this like sequel or expansion type project, wouldn't it make sense that if everyone still played multiplayer together, but there's this big add-on that you can access all sorts of other cool stuff, and I bet like premium skins and stuff, things like that too, that was with the original launch of the game, they'll probably repeat that, but so that they still can sell you something that doesn't split these two communities. And if you don't want to pay, I hope you'll still be able to play any new characters they bring along with it, but only time will tell. In any case though, if these leaks are to be believed, we are going to have one heck of a BlizzCon this year, because whereas last year it felt like they didn't really have much to show, it's shaping up to look pretty good. Keeping in line with my theory that 2019 is the year that they decided to pull a lot of these things around, and we already know more is coming soon in the summer. We already got the workshop. You start putting all this stuff together, it gets me feeling really optimistic, I can't lie. Okay, moving on. A few other things in the news that I wanted to cover. A couple days ago, there was like the secret patch that they put out, changing some voice lines, but a key one hidden in here is they fixed the bug where Ashe wasn't gaining ultimate charge while Bob existed. That's been corrected. Very important for Ashe gameplay. They also fixed an issue where in deathmatch games, the matches were canceled if there was fewer than 7 players. Now that threshold has been lowered to 4, which I think is a pretty good idea. If there's 4 players in the lobby, it's hard to find each other and, you know, just kind of end it move on. Half the players have left. This is especially a buff to my favorite game mode, Hero Gauntlet, which I know many of you said you had a lot of trouble staying in lobbies without them disbanding when a player starts getting behind. Now that shouldn't be the case any longer. And in fact, they're now imposing the quick play lever penalty in deathmatch modes, which is a specific thing they're doing because I think there isn't one in arcade, because maybe you want to jump in and out of different game modes and just try them out. Oh, I don't like that, get out. In deathmatch though, if you leave too many games in a row, just like in quick play, you will incur an XP penalty, which of course hurts your ability to gain loot boxes, which gets you skins. The Overwatch League is kicking up today and should be starting right around when this video goes live, and it was weird to find out what patch they were running. They originally published it as the PTR patch with the nerfed D.Va and buffed McCree, but then quickly changed it to be the one I just showed you. So essentially just goats again. So that's not ideal, but also there's going to be a problem where whenever the replay system, along with the McCree and D.Va changes, come to live, then we'll be playing on a patch that Overwatch League isn't, which is unfortunate. And furthermore, Overwatch League replays are reported to come out when that PTR patch goes live, which really could be any day now, honestly. Last item for the day, the brilliant developers that came up with the Overwatch Workshop, Dan Reed and Keith Mirren, had an interview with Unit Lost and Darwin Streams, and in it, they answered some workshop questions that can affect creators as well as players. From the player perspective, they are looking to the issue of curation, which I think is the #1 criticism I have of the entire system. So they're aware of that and are looking towards a solution. So for example, yes, having an arcade rotation is nice where they pluck a game mode out and then give it a playlist in the arcade, but would be even better if there was better ways to curate the list and make finding new game modes, or even the most recent version of the game mode you like, more visible and easily accessible. You might think that an idea like persistent codes that kind of holds ownership a little bit tighter would make a bit more sense, so that you don't have like 6 different codes for the same game mode floating around, but apparently that's not easy to overcome. It has its own problems as well, so we're probably not getting that. And specifically when asked about having a custom map where there's like a war room just for testing out the different crazy changes that you put through to your characters and game modes, rather than having to load into an actual Overwatch map that's got a rule set and everything, and of course map geometry and all that, they said that's kind of a maybe. But also in a general macro sense, the good news is they did say they would like to do a map creator, which seems like something that might be in the far future. And at any point, these sneaky developers are going to start working on this kind of thing. And then in a year or two, it just comes out. Because that's pretty much what happened with the Workshop, where initially when the game launched, they denied a map editor or workshop type thing to be on the high list of priorities. And then we all just sort of stopped asking them about that. And behind the scenes, they diverted some resources to attempt to do it. It worked out, and then boom, we have it, and it's a big surprise. I'd imagine the same sort of timeline for the map creator, where probably not in the near future, but keep in mind, as we said at the start of the video, they're diverting resources to get more devs into Overwatch, not less. So perhaps we may see development pick up the pace a little bit, which I think would make us all very excited. 2019 is a big year, but I hope any issues that spring up don't get neglected for as long as some of the biggest Overwatch issues have. I think this year is a big time for them to rectify those concerns, but also it's on us as the player base, the consumers, to continue to ask for more value for our money. That's our job, gamers. Closed mouths don't get fed. All right, guys, that's everything for today's video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please be sure to leave it a like. It really does help us out and lets us know that you're enjoying the content. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and be sure to hit the bell icon so that you get notified when our videos go live. Link to the description is our Twitter, where we tweet out news, updates, and dank memes. That's been it for me. I've been FREEDO for your Overwatch. See you guys next time.
Nerf this, hammer down, fire at will, break it down, no DPS, rally to me, experience tranquility. Nerf this, hammer down, fire at will, break it down, no DPS, rally to me, experience tranquility. Nerf this, hammer down, fire at will, break it down, no DPS, rally to me, experience tranquility. Nerf this, hammer down, fire at will, hammer down, fire at will, rally to down, fire at will, rally to down, fire at will, hammer down, rally down.